Call them the Queens of Quench. I'm Joe Downs for the ACES Inside. Before the game-winning goals, before the opening coin flip, before even the pregame speech, the women of the University of Evansville training staff are hard at work putting together their formula for victory with a style all their own.
It's definitely a very, thought-out, formulated process that we've kind of developed here. It's kind of TC's original recipe and, what he's kind of tried over the years.
TC is Terry Collins, the mix master of the University of Evansville's Gatorade formula, a man who takes his science seriously.
If you don't get that powder broke down into a liquidy solution, the Gatorade tastes bad. It tastes like you're chewing on a sweet tart, and you really don't want to be, or sugary, granular. It's just not a good mix when you're trying to drink it, especially when you're hot and thirsty.
It starts out with the powder, then some hot water, that really helps mix it together and make sure that there's no particles in there.
Stir it up well and get it all mixed up. That's kind of the key to getting started. Then you got to cool it back down, of course, so making sure you have the appropriate ice to make sure, because nobody wants to drink hot Gatorade.
There's just a lot of very important parts, and you got to make sure that you hit all of them. It's kind of maybe one of the downplayed things that we do.
And TC learned his craft from a very early age from dear old mom. He also remembers what life was like before Gatorade. It wasn't pretty or tasty.
When you're a kid and you drink Kool-Aid, you put the sugar in with the Kool-Aid, and that's how it kind of came up. We just figured, hot water in there, mix, then we always put ice in it. So it was kind of the similar thing, but Mama teaching you how to do Kool-Aid kind of prepped me for the Gatorade. When I was a freshman at Arkansas State, Gatorade wasn't as popular, widespread use as it is now. 30 years ago, we were taking salt and sugar and Kool-Aid and mixing up and kind of making our own primitive sports drink, and that was actually how I was introduced to it. God, it tasted bad. It was so salty and nasty.
However, nowadays there's a flavor and a mix for every occasion, which leads to some interesting names.
Obviously, we don't stick with the same flavors. We like to switch it up and do different things. So it kind of just depends on the day. We're kind of getting at the point in the season where, we've tried a lot of things, so we're just, we're doing everything we can to mix all these different flavors together. So a lot of times the name, comes from the flavor, the color, maybe something that's going on that day, the mood, something like that, sometimes even weather. So we really pull from anything to come up with a unique name.
What are some of the more popular flavors?
Here at UE, swamp water is a big one, not just with the men's soccer team, but throughout all the athletic teams. It's a purple and yellow mix. Looks like swamp water. That one's more of a descriptive one, but tastes really awesome. So that's kind of a big athletic team favorite. But this year we've had a lot of unique ones. We've had Baja Blast, we've had Skittles, Dreamsicle, chai tea. Even one day we named one that. So we've had a bunch, and it just kind of depends on what we're working with that day.
Do you have a favorite flavor?
I still kind of like maybe lemon lime and the Gatorade mixed together. I think the kind of the traditional flavors were kind of always my favorite. So that might be where I would go to, but as long as it tastes good and it's cold, I'll sip on any of it.
And as complex as the mixes and names are, the grading system the players give for feedback is equally interesting.
The guys are really good about letting us know what they like and what they don't like. We've only had maybe one day where they're kind of iffy about it. We didn't really know what to call it, so we put a question mark on the name on the cooler. But yeah, they like to have fun with it too, so they'll give us a rating from 0 to 10.
Snowy, what's the grade on this one?
This one?
Yeah.
It's only like a 7.2. It's a little watered down today.
7.2.
We'll get 8.3, 7.9, 9.5, things like that. So they're pretty good about letting us know.
The trainers then take the input and formulate it into the next batch of elixir. Still, they know they won't please everybody.
You always get one. But they always drink it too. So unless it's hot, nobody really complains.
As a whole, the team generally likes it a little stronger, so a little sweeter, kind of syrupy maybe even. So we try to keep it that way, and usually, if it's that way, they can add a little water to it if they don't like it as strong. But then there's one that's going to be like, well, I thought it was too weak, or I thought it was too much. So yeah, I think we usually please them pretty well.
For the Aces Insider, I'm Joe Downs. And remember, you can keep up with all things Evansville athletics on GoPurpleAces.com, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and our YouTube channel.